Morning students. So yesterday we had discussed about preparation of halogens, in which we had seen the preparation of chlorine gas, its laboratory preparation and its manufacturing. Also we had seen the manufacturing of HCl as well as the laboratory preparation of HCl. Then we were to discuss about interhalogen compounds. So this is a topic from P block elements. And you will be watching my video on 25th of August. We have reached up to the topic interhalogen compounds. The elements of group 17 like fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine can form molecules among each other, and those molecules are called as interhalogen compounds. Okay, like ClF. What kind of compound it is forming? It is forming a compound in which its ratio is 1:1. So we can write it is XX dash type of interhalogen compound. It can also form ClF3. So it is 1:3. So we can write it is XX dash 3 type of halogen compound. It can also form ClF5. So we can write it is 1:5 ratio, and it is XX5 type. And IF7 will be 1:7 ratio, and it is XX-7 type of halogen. Now preparation of these can be done by giving suitable concentration of these. Now even ICl is also possible. So if I write ICl, so it will be under this. If I write BrF3, it will be under this category. If I write BrF5, it will be under this category. Okay. So IF7 is unique, and it is formed only with iodine. Now one thing has to be seen here. Here see chlorine, 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 iodine, iodine, bromine and bromine are the central atoms. Okay. The central atom has to be bigger and the peripheral atom has to be smaller first. Second thing is that the central atom should be comparatively electropositive than the peripheral atoms or surrounding atoms. जो सेंटर का जो एटम है, वो सेंटर का एटम जो है उसका इलेक्ट्रोपॉजिटिविटी जो पेरिफेरल एटम है जो उसको घेरे हुए हैं उससे ज्यादा होना चाहिए. ठीक है. नाउ व्हेन वी सी, जब हम देखते हैं क्लोरीन और फ्लोरीन ClF, तो लगता है कि ये मॉलिक्यूल लीनियर होगा, लेकिन ये लीनियर नहीं होगा. ठीक है. सो वी विल सी दैट हाउ इट इज like not linear, what will be its shape. Before that we will quickly see how they are prepared. So their preparation is very easy. We take equimolar ratio of Cl and F. If we take equimolar ratio of Cl and F2, and if we heat it, it will form ClF. So what is the temperature given here? 437 Kelvin. Now if I want to prepare ClF3, so what option I have? I have to take Cl2. I have to take F2. I don't have any other option. But to make it 1:3 ratio, I will put 3 over here. So this will become ClF3. Similarly for this, we have to just balance it. Cl2 plus F2, we will make it 5 times. This will become 2 ClF5. Similarly, Br2 and F2, if I have to prepare BrF3, then what I will do? I will take Br2 and F2 and I will make it 3 times. So this will become BrF3. So I have to make it 2 times. Iodine and fluorine, they are diatomic. So how will I make it IF7? IF 7 I have to make. So I will make it twice and I will make it 7 times. So in this way this is prepared. So preparation is not a big challenge, you can remember it very easily because the ratios are seen. Alright. Now there is another thing, that what will be the structure of these interhalogen compounds. To remember their structure, you don't have to by heart anything, you have to simply apply Vespert theory. You have to apply valence electron pair repulsion theory. So we will take each of these example and we will see how their structure can be found out. Intrahalogen compounds are more reactive than its corresponding element, like more than chlorine and more than fluorine. ClF will be more reactive because electronegative element is existing as electropositive element, so it will have a high tendency to gain electron. Okay, like Cl2 will be less reactive, F2 will be less reactive as compared to ClF, because when it breaks it forms Cl plus and F minus. Now when an electronegative element exists as electropositive element, its tendency to gain electron will be much higher, so it will act as a very reactive element, okay, or reactive cation. So intrahalogen compounds are comparatively more reactive than its corresponding elements. Okay, these are less reactive and this is more reactive. So intrahalogen compounds are more reactive than its corresponding elements. Now we will take one problem we will take from the textbook, and rest all you will be able to do them. In your textbook there is one question given. Discuss the molecular shape of BRF3 on the basis of Vespert theory. BRF3, yes, this molecule is there. So I'll erase it and I'll make it a clean board. Discuss the structure of BRF3 using Vespert theory. What is Vespert theory? Vespert theory is valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. This topic is going on in class 11. So if you want to have a revisit, you can see that video of class 11 in which Vespert theory is titled. So we have to find out the structure of BRF3. Now bromine has got how many electrons in the outermost cell? 7 electrons, out of which 3 are bonded. 3 are bonded. So 1, 2, 3. These 3 electrons should have been of bromine. How many more are left? It has to have 7. So 4 more electrons are there. So 2 electron pairs. It has to have 2 more electron pairs. Now if you see its structure, then it could be like this. Means if repulsion of bond pair and lone pair would be there, then it should look like this, that bromine, 1 fluorine here, 1 fluorine here and 1 fluorine here. These are the 2 lone pairs. How did I find this out? See, bromine is a group 17 element. It has 7 electrons in the outermost cell. It has 7 electrons in the outermost cell. So these 7 electrons are these: 1 electron, 2 electron, 3 electron, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So 3 bond pairs I have made with fluorine. With fluorine I have made 3 bond pairs. Fluorine will also have 7 electrons, and with it is forming 8. So it is looking like that its structure will be trigonal bipyramidal. It will be like trigonal bipyramidal. Seems to be. It seems to be trigonal bipyramidal. But we know that lone pair repulsion is more than lone pair bond pair repulsion. As a result, this lone pair of electrons will repel this 2 fluorine, and as a result it will assume a bent T-shaped structure. So in this way we can find out the structure of any interhalogen compounds. So this was a question from page number 207. Page 207 NCERT. This question was there. Based on this question, we can find out the structure of all other interhalogen compounds. We will do that exercise. Okay, so it will become easy. And the same thing you can apply for finding out the structure of any other p block elements, molecules structure. Now, finding out the molecular structure of interhalogen compounds gives us a very good practice of finding out the molecular structure of any other compounds of any other p block elements, because it has a variety of structures. Let us take the example of X dash type. What would you like me to take? Can I take CLF, or should I take one is CLF, another one I can take as BRF. So I can take any. Let me take CLF. Very clearly here chlorine has to have 7 valence electrons and fluorine also has to have 7 valence electrons. Now both will share to form octet, so one bond pair will be there. Now whenever we see hybridization, or whenever we see electron pairs, we see the electron pairs around the central atom. Okay, that determines what will be the structure of the molecule. तो ये bond pair में आ गया, तो एक इलेक्ट्रॉन तो क्लोरीन का हुआ. How many more electrons are left now? 6 more electrons. 6 electrons means 3 pairs. So 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 pair. So earlier it was looking like linear shape, isn't it? It was looking like a linear shape. Yes, it has a linear shape. But what is its structure? Its structure is tetrahedral. See, 4 points are there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and whenever there will be 4 points arranged like this, it will form a tetrahedral structure. I can show this tetrahedral structure formation using hybridization concept also. Valence shell. So I will using concept of hybridization also, the same can be proved. Valence shell electronic configuration of chlorine would be 1s2 we will not take, then 2s2, 2p6 will not take, it will be 3s2, 3p5. So 2 electrons are here, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and D block is element, D block is vacant, 3D is 0. In third cell D has to be there, but it is 0. It has 1 unpaired electron, so it need not promote its electron to any further orbital. So D is not going to take part. So which elements, which orbitals are taking part? 1s and 3p are taking part. So this forms bond with fluorine. This forms bond with fluorine, and these are the 3 lone pairs. Lone pair, lone pair, and lone pair. This is what is shown over here. Lone pair, lone pair, lone pair, and one bond pair. Okay. So I come back here to just see whether the board work is visible or not. Okay. Next, I'll take X3 type of interhalogen compounds. Let us take X3 type of interhalogen compounds. So ClF3 if I take, or you can take BrF3 also. So in this case, what is happening? Chlorine is forming bond with 3 fluorine. So 3 electron of its valence shell is consumed. How many more are left? 4 are left. So 4 will form 2 pairs because electron likes to stay in pairs. But although it is assuming a TBP kind of a structure, it is assuming a distorted trigonal pyramidal structure. But its shape will be bent T shape. Bent T shape. Like this. F, F, F and Cl here. Now using hybridization also we can see 3s2, 3p5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 3d vacant. 3s2, 3p5, 3d0. After hybridization or after exciting of the central atom, how many bonds are required to be formed? 1 bond, 2 bond and 3 bond. So 3 unpaired electrons should be there. So how 3 unpaired electron can be formed? 3 unpaired electron can be formed if this electron is promoted from here to here. So we are giving excitation energy. So what will happen? It will form S, P and 3d hybrid orbital. So these many orbitals will take part. So it will form S, P, 3d hybrid orbital and then it will form like this. 1 lone pair, 2 lone pair and 3 unpaired electron, which will form bond with 3 fluorine atoms. These are the pure pz orbital of pz orbital of fluorine. It will come with 1 unpaired electron and will form bond. So these 2 lone pair of electrons are this lone pair and this lone pair. So with hybridization also it can be shown. So I have shown you one case of X. I have shown you one case of X3. I had shown you one case of BrF5. It was case of XX5. Now we will see one case of XX7. That means IF7. IF7. How will you show its structure? Now, iodine will have 7 electrons in its outermost shell, which can be written as 5 in one plane, 1 above the plane and 1 below the plane. Fluorine will come with 1 electron unpaired. they will pair up. It will form octet, 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 and octet. And iodine will follow the extended octet rule. You know, extension of octet rule you have studied. So in this way, there will be no lone pair of electron. So there is no lone pair. No lone pair is equal to 0. Bond pair is equal to 7. So what will be the structure? Its structure will be pentagonal bipyramidal. If you would like to see the hybridization by box diagram, that can also be done. Chlorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So this is n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, n equal to 5. So this will be 5 S2, 5 P5, and 5D0. 2 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electrons, and D has no electrons as of now. Now it needs to have 5 unpaired electrons. So to have 5 unpaired electrons, what it will do? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It will get promoted here. So 7 unpaired electrons are required. So one will come here, one will come here, and one will come here. So how many orbitals are getting used? 1s, 3p, and 3d. So s, p, 3, d, 3. That means 1 plus 3 plus 3 is equal to 7. So how can you arrange 7 points in the space so that there will be minimum repulsion? It will be in the form of pentagonal bipyramidal. Pentagonal bipyramidal. Okay, so this was all about interhalogen compounds. Now one more question is there, that why ICl is more reactive, or any interhalogen compound is more reactive than its corresponding element. Any interhalogen compound is more reactive than its corresponding element because of the difference in the electronegativity of the constituting halogen elements, which is supposed to be electronegative, and they have high tendency to gain electron. But when they form cation, their tendency to gain electron increases further. As a result, they become more reactive. Okay, so I can write and I can tell you. Say I can take a specific example that why ICl is more reactive than I2 or Cl2. Now I2 and Cl2 is a stable molecule, but ICl has high interelectronic repulsion, has high interelectronic repulsion due to many lone pairs around it. As a result, it prefers to break into I plus and Cl minus. Obviously, I plus will have more tendency to gain electron than only I. So I plus is highly reactive because it is electronegative and it has gained positive charge, because it is electronegative but it has gained positive charge. So this was all about intrahalogen compounds of p block elements. In our next discussion, we will be discussing about the group 18 elements, their inertness as well as their reactivity. Now, just for a reference, as you go down the group, its reactivity increases. So you will find that Gn is comparatively reactive as compared to any other element in the group 18, and hence with certain elements which can oxidize it very well, like fluorine and oxygen, it forms a number of compounds. It forms XeF6, it forms XeO2F2. All right. So in this way, it shows a covalency of 6 and can form XeO3, XeO2F2, XeO2F4, like that. It can form a number of oxofluorides, fluorides, and hydrolyzed products of xenon fluorides. Okay, hydrolyzed product of xenon fluorides are generally the oxofluorides. So it depends upon how much of water we give for hydrolyzing it, and then a set of reactions are there which we have to study, and that is very important in that chapter. All right, then we will be doing a few question answers with which we will have a complete revision of the preparation and properties of p block elements, and then p block elements will become a kind of a package for you to remember, and you can write answers in the exam very well. Okay, this is the chapter in which you cannot learn by notes, you have to learn by question answers. So I had given you 154 questions, which includes the questions of NCERT as well as the questions of previous year's board examination. Okay, those questions are sorted in a very logical manner, so please keep solving those questions. I will also pick up those questions after completion of the group 18 elements. Okay, thank you.